Hi everyone and welcome to this show reel of ArchiCabinet, Chigraph's leading application for ArchiCAD for the creation of cabinets, furniture and scaffoldings. Please note that this version of ArchiCabinet is currently not on the market. We are still testing it for some market analysis and we will see if the user will use this in the future. Okay, let's start. So this is the main interface access for ArchiCabinet. Please note that it has been simplified. And let's start from this interface. The first panel will allow us to change the main size of our piece of furniture, the width, the depth, the height. We can also visualize the furniture in our preview right window in order to understand its shape. Okay, let's start. Let's say that I need a width of 1000 millimeters, 100 centimeters, a depth of 50 centimeters, so that's 500 millimeters. Okay, and the height is 800. The preview has been immediately updated. We can choose our shape for the cabinet. So we can decide whether to use a rectangular form or an angular form, an L-shaped form, and so on. But please switch back to the rectangular form. So I can decide the connection. Just imagine to use a series of cabinet of modules. So I can decide if the module can link another module on the left, on the right side, or on both sides. I can also decide to create a single piece of furniture or more cabinets. Let's take a look at a series of cabinets. Okay, I decide the orientation. Let's switch into a 3D view. Okay, that's our simple series of cabinets for the moment. Let's go back to our panel. I can also decide to import pre-existing settings from another object library in ArchiCAD and to change their parameters. But I will continue creating a very simple cabinet in order to show you the functions of this plugin. Let's go further. The second panel is related to materials. We can decide to apply a material to the entire cabinet. Let's link the three parameters together. Let's say mahogany wood. I can also decide to unlink the different parameters and to choose different materials for the different elements. I can also apply different materials to each element that constitute the cabinet: top panel, base panel, side panels, and so on. That's according to an existing ArchiCAD library. Okay, let's go further. That's my third panel. We are operating in a BIM environment, so we have to decide the priority between elements. Let's set, say, 2 vertical dividers for our cabinet. Let's set 1 horizontal divider. We can choose whether to show the priority for vertical dividers or for horizontal dividers. Let's go back. I will set 0 as an horizontal divider number and priority on horizontal dividers. Let's switch to the fourth panel, we have top settings. We are talking about the horizontal upper part of our cabinet that can be thicker or thinner, say 30 millimeters instead of 18. The preview has been immediately updated. We can choose to show a top element or top rails, such as in a cupboard for garments or dressings. And of course, we can choose according to the priority of elements if the element overhangs the others. Let's take a look at the horizontal element. Say we are going to overhang that on each side 50 millimeters. Okay, let's switch back to the vertical element. Let's say the vertical element will go up 60 millimeters. But we can also apply, we can also set a front overhanging, let's say 20 millimeters. Please note that the upper part will overhang for 20 millimeters. And of course, we can choose whether to use the general material settings or to switch into some more customizable settings. Okay. Let's go back about overhanging. For sure, I'm not the best furniture designer in the world, but we can at least appreciate the potentialities of ArchiCabinet. We can also choose a double top. Let's say we will have a structural part and an upper, more refined part. Of course, we can variate the materials. And then we will have a look at the base settings. Are we using the base element, the horizontal divider? Well, I hope so. Will it have a horizontal or a vertical priority? Will it overhang in front, say 30 millimeters? And of course, I can also customize the single materials. Okay, let's go to the fifth panel. That allows me to create a back panel for my cabinet. I can choose whether to use a back panel or to leave it empty, open, to push my cabinet right into the wall. And of course, I can make variation of the materials. On the lower part of this panel, I can decide to use the rear rail or not, and to put different parameters about its thickness, height, and offset from the bottom. Oh, maybe that's too much. Let's say 20 millimeters. And of course, I can also insert new materials. Okay, as you can see, we are creating a cabinet from the beginning. Let's go further. We can decide the side panels, dimension and parameters of the side panels. I mean, usually side panels are more structural than others, so maybe the thickness has to be bigger, let's say 30 millimeters instead of 18. Okay, I can decide whether to use the left or right panels or not. That's very useful when I'm going to create a series of modules for my cupboards. Let's take a look in our 3D environment. We can also appreciate the different materials. Oops. Let's go back to our control panel. And to a 3D view, let's reuse the right panel. We can also start the side panels from the ground, from the floor. We can paste a different shape, a different thickness for the panels. And of course, we can create new materials. Do we have vertical dividers? Yes, of course. Just change the thickness. Yeah, maybe that's too much. Let's go back to 20. Horizontal dividers. Well, I just erased the horizontal divider in order to show you the creation of a door in 1 minute. So let's go further. That's the panel for the toe settings, the place where the cabinet collides with the floor. Are we going to use the toe or not? Well, it's useful to use it. But maybe we can simply choose not to use the toe and to use legs. On the lower part of this panel, we can choose different kind of legs in a library. Okay, let's choose this sort of Art Deco leg. I can change the parameter of the diameter of the leg. That's not 20, let's say is 40. Okay, legs are bigger. I can change the side offset of the legs. Are the legs directly on the vertical panels? Well, that's not good. Let's switch back to, say, 100. Okay, that's good. We can create a frame for the legs. The frame will be a structure for the legs. Or we can simply switch back to the toe and choose on which side to create the toe. On the front side? No. On the right side? And so on. Of course, we can change parameters, materials, and we can appreciate the full IFC integration of those elements. Let's go further. That's the panel to create doors. It's very useful to have flipping or sliding doors. So maybe it's better for us to switch into a two-dimensional view in order to select the parts of the cabinets that will have doors. I can select all the cabinets. I can simply select some vertical dividers. Let's say the first. And I can set the number of doors. Oh, let's start with 2. Okay, let's say that we will have an open cabinet on 2 modules out of 3, and then a door. Of course, the door can be open from a side, it can be sliding, it can be rolling. It can be hung on a side, and we can change the style of the door according to this powerful library of doors. Let's choose this classical kind of door. Well, maybe that's not its cup of tea. Let's switch into a more modern style. Okay, maybe I don't want 2 doors anymore. 1 is enough for me. I can also decide whether to visualize the open door or not. Oh, well, I will select another vertical division. 1 door. Please note the variety of doors we can use. Oh, let's say the same door. Okay, say we will have the closed doors. Let's go further for the handle. I need handles to open those doors. Okay? So I can access a library of handles in order to choose my favorite one and then to edit it. Say we are going to use the second kind of modernistical style handle. We will have it. We can decide to center or to rotate 90 degrees the handle. That's not that functional anymore. So let's go back. I don't want to have it rotated. I can change the size of the handle, say 120. The horizontal distance according to the door is not 25, it's going to be 15. So my handle is more centered. Let's go further. We have just almost finished. Okay. Let's go to the 9th palette. We can set all the parameters for our cabinet in order to have a clever interoperability between different IFC systems. I can set the name of the cabinet, say ArchiCabinet. I can set the cost. Well, that's a masterpiece of furniture, so let's say 500 euros. Location, the manufacturer, the weight, and other user-defined settings. Then I can switch into the last menu. Here I can modify the 2D symbols. I can decide how to let this cabinet appear in a plan or elevation. Let's start from the minimum space. That's the minimum amount to let the flipping doors open. For security reasons, I have to set an accessible space in front of my cabinet, so I can change it, say 45 centimeters, 450 millimeters. Maybe I can have some tools, some heating devices on the back side of my cabinet, so I can set a back security minimum space, say 300. Then I can choose the kind of symbol. Let's create a cabinet that way. Okay, that's my 3D cabinet. Let's switch into a 2D view. And we can see that my cabinet has been updated with a kind of symbol. Let's go back. Of course, I can change the line style for those symbols. I can decide to cut with a section plane the horizontal appearance of my cabinet. I can set the different hatches for my 2D visualization. And of course, I can put a text on my cabinet. Let's say this is the Chigraph's cabinet. Here we are. There are a lot of parameters I can customize in order to reach my representational goal of the cabinet. Okay, let's say we have quite professional cabinets for the moment. And that's all. Thanks for your attention. I hope you had appreciated ArchiCabinet, Chigraph's leading plugin for ArchiCAD for the creation of cabinets, furniture, and scaffoldings. And of course, see you soon.